Hey guys, welcome back to Pistons Talk Podcast. Hope you guys are having a great Monday afternoon. I am joined by Wes Davenport, Blake Silverman from the Pin Down Podcast. Fellas, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having us on. Happy to be back. Wish there was more basketball going on right now, but always down to talk Pistons.
Anthony, appreciate you having us on.
Oh, for sure. Like I said, I if I'm going to invite one of you on, I feel like I have to just invite the duo on because both of you guys are very insightful, and I always enjoy talking basketball with you guys when I get the chance to. I believe this is your third appearance on the pod, if I do remember correctly.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy to be back.
I can have you guys on once a month, honestly. it's just fun.
Appreciate it.
I know we had Summer League a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know if you guys want to maybe focus on a player or just your overall takeaways with Summer League for the Detroit Pistons.
Hey, Blake, you want to take the obvious one?
Yeah, I mean, obviously just Ron Holland, like what a showing. I think this year was a weird Summer League for the Pistons, obviously, because it's the first year in however many years that you don't have a top 5 pick or even a first round pick that you're like looking forward to seeing them the first time in Pistons colors. They just get drafted and you're excited to watch them finally on the court. But I mean, you have Chaz Lanier, who we can probably talk about a little bit, but when you have Ron Holland, who gets a few games under his belt and just comes out firing, like I think the biggest takeaways, which is like different compared to the last few years for what we were trying to take away as fans from Summer League, is like you want your year 2 guy who you think could eventually grow into a huge piece of this team and could be a potential like big extension player later on. Like you kind of want him to go out there and dominate. And he exactly did that. Like he was pretty much the best player on the court every time he was on the court. And honestly could have been one of the best players like playing in Summer League in general. So I think that's like the biggest takeaway. It's super obvious. Like I wish maybe there was something a little more niche we could go into, but I just think like Pistons fans in general have to be thrilled with what they saw from Ron Holland.
Yeah, and can I ask you guys both this? Is it fair to say that Ron Holland may have had the best Piston young player Summer League performance that I can remember, like recent memory? I'm going back to like Cade's rookie year. It was pretty good. It wasn't this good. I mean, Ivy and Duran looked very good when they were doing their second stint, but Ron Holland was dominant here in a way that I don't think we've seen as Pistons fans for second-year players in quite some time.
I'm thinking previous regimes. I'm thinking like Henry Ellenson just chucking
I was
like,
just
Henry Ellenson was really good. Yeah, he was. So, I mean, like, you know, all that's worth, right? But best Summer League performance since Henry Ellenson.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm a sickle for even remembering that. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're just talking about, like, both ends of the floor, like, when I was looking at the numbers, like, 4 steals a game, I was like, how the hell did he average 4 steals a game? And then, like, the 3-point percentage just jumping up to, like, I'm pretty good volume, too, over 40% from 3. So, I mean, he did say, like, I've been working on the shot, and, like, it looks better. Like, he's landing better. I never really questioned the form with him. It was just, like, you know, getting in the gym with Fred Vincent. You can obviously see that he's been putting in a lot of work in.
Yeah, and I think I'm interested, like, to see if that's the thing that sticks. I mean, we knew that was a big part of where Holland had to grow, and I mean, it's nice to see him connect on decent volume and a high percentage in Summer League. So, I mean, that's the thing I'll be most intrigued about going into the regular season. I don't think he'll all of a sudden jump up and like shoot like he did in Summer League, but I think it's at least like a positive that aspect of his game is growing. Cause I mean, he's still like 20 years old. So I think he has plenty of time to grow in that sense. And I was thrilled to see it go down in Summer League like we wanted to see so much over last season.
And it wasn't just like that the shot was going in so much. I mean, it was obviously that was really exciting to see, But like you mentioned, you said he got volume. He did. It was up over 5 3-point attempts per game, right? Well, Ron Holland also almost got to the line 9 times per game.
Yeah.
So this wasn't coming at the expense of any of his other stuff, any of the other stuff that we know he does well. He was still getting to the rim. He was still getting content. He was still getting to the contact, still getting to the free throw line. And now he's also being able to pop from 3 at a good volume and hit a decent amount of them, right? Like that's what you want to see. If you want to see, and you want to say Ron Holland is going to be, this really good scorer for the Pistons one day, that's the kind of stuff you need to see. He needs to be shooting it. He needs to be getting to the line, putting pressure on the rim. He did that in Summer League. It was honestly, he was further along than I thought he was going to be. I was really impressed.
Yeah, I feel like that's exactly what you want to see out of your second year player in Summer League. Like you want to see him just dominate, and I thought he did that. I don't want to say the word like disappointment, but what were you guys' just thoughts with like Bobby Clintman? Because I felt like a lot of eyes were on him because the last Summer League he kind of just flashed his passing and his ability to shoot the basketball. Like what were your takes with like this his overall game in the process?
Yeah, I mean, I think up and down for sure. Like we all saw it. And I mean, he had that one 20-point game. And I think the tough thing is like, and going back to a little about how the Summer League in general was different when you're watching, like specifically for the Pistons, is like just how you want to see your year 2, year 3 guys who are out there dominate. Like if you see some of those year 2, year 3 guys like struggle a bit in that setting, it's definitely a cause for concern. I mean, like, I'm not saying let's just cast Bobby Clintman off by any means. Like, I still think he could potentially contribute to this roster. And I mean, I always kind of saw him as like a bench player, maybe eventually filling that Simone Fontecchio role from last season. Different kind of player, of course. And I mean, Wes brought it up when we recorded last week. I think the passing is like what you should be intrigued about the most, up and down there a little bit too in Summer League. So I don't know. Obviously we're looking for a little more from Bobby Clintman, but I don't think I'm fully out on the Bobby Clintman experience either.
Yeah, and it's just tough, right? Because like you're looking at a guy who's really more of a power forward than he is a center. Like I look at him more as a forward than a big. Well, no, I guess I should say a big. He could play the 4 and the 5. I just see him more sitting at the 4 for the majority of his minutes. And like at that position, he's got to do something other than pass the ball. He's a very good passer. I think that skill stands out. It jumps off the page. In Summer League, it jumped off the page. If you watch any of his G League stuff as well last year, like the kid can pass the basketball and he sees the floor very well. So that's his NBA skill. But I mean, we kind of saw, this is a terrible comparison, but we saw this book play out a little bit with Killian Hayes. Like that's a great skill to have. But if that's your one thing, it's not going to get you all that far. Killian Hayes was also a very good defender. So he had a second and it still didn't get him all that far, right? So like you're looking at Bobby Clintman, and I think he's got potential as a defender, but it wasn't there consistently in the Summer League. I think he's got potential as a shooter, but he struggled with that. And you got to be really worried about just his percentage from the floor, just the inability to put the ball in the basket against Summer League competition. That is a big time concern for a guy that spends a lot of time near the rim. So like I'm with you. Disappointing maybe is too harsh of a word, because he did flash legitimate NBA skill as a facilitator, which is something that he absolutely could be used in like the short roll or as a DHO kind of guy, right? Doing those passes that we see Jalen Duren successfully complete all the time at the NBA level. It's just he's got to find something else.
Yeah, like given his height and his size, I thought he would attack the basket more. He did it a little bit in the Heat game, but that's the one thing with him that I've been critiquing. Like, you're big enough, I think you should just go up strong and just attack the basket. But it kind of seems like he's more looking to pass first, like you mentioned. The 3-point shot when it's falling, it's good. I caught a lot of his G League games this year. Blake, I know you do some G League stuff as well. Man, they played him in every position. Like they played him point guard some games, like center, shooting guard. I think it's just a development thing with him. I think he might spend a whole nother year in the cruise, because I just don't really feel that he's ready for rotational minutes right now, just based off the G League games and the summer league games that I've watched. I think it's just going to be another development year for him personally.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I don't think he's going to be a part of this rotation. I mean, even if he came out and like had a really good summer league, I would still say the same thing. I think the tough thing is just like us, and I think the most majority of Pistons fans have been just dying for one of these second round picks to work out.
Yeah.
So or not even like work out in the sense and like blowing up to be the next like Nikola Jokic or a lesser player but just like a good rotational player. And I don't think we've seen the long-term vision of like Clintman being a rotational guy, but like, I mean, Dannis Jenkins, who you brought in as an undrafted free agent, had a great summer league. Like, if he's able to be a rotation player or like a third guard that you use when you need to, like that's a big win. And I think that is honestly the same thing as like if you hit on a second round pick and then you have your rookie from this year, Chaz Lanier, like you don't know what he's going to be. So it's another shot, I guess. But I think mainly like that's where the disappointment, I guess, with what we saw from Bobby Clintman is coming from.
Yeah, I mean, did you guys want to touch on Dannis Jenkins? Like, I felt like he was probably the most second productive Piston in the summer league.
Yeah, I mean, I'll touch on Dannis Jenkins. I was super excited by what I saw. I thought he looked incredible in summer league, which from like Blake, you just said, like undrafted guy last year. He spent the whole season with the Crews, and he comes into summer league, and truthfully, like he looked too good for summer league over 5 games, which you don't honestly expect a second round pick to look too good for summer league. And I thought Dannis Jenkins just flat out looked like he didn't belong there. I was surprised almost that they didn't shut him down when they shut down Ron Holland. He shot the ball. He was making plays as a passer. He orchestrated the offense extremely well. He got his own. He was a really fun defender. I mean, what he did against Reed Sheppard was entertaining basketball. He made Reed Sheppard really upset that Houston was playing him still in the summer league at that point. And I don't think that he's going to get that last or one of these last 2 roster spots. I think he made as good an argument as you can as a player in his position could make for it. And I imagine they keep him on this 2-way deal going all the way through the season. By the time we get to March, maybe you are talking about Dannis Jenkins getting that full-time roster spot and being on the roster the season after as well. So I think he was exciting, and he's shown a lot more potential than any of us could have expected.
Yeah, and I think you've seen like the Pistons, and I mean it's pretty much across the NBA. Like teams, when you get up to that games requirement for 2-way players, just converting guys onto like non-guaranteed NBA deals. So it seems like that is sort of the path for Jenkins, and like what he did in summer league. Like, I mean, I don't think he'll do that in NBA games, but like, why can't he be an energy guy off the bench when you need him to, or someone else is in foul trouble and you need to go to him, or no one can buy a bucket, so you have to throw a curveball and have Dannis Jenkins in there? Like, I think that is what he sort of showed he could be with summer league. I mean, again, it's like asking a lot because of he's a second year undrafted free agent guy, but I mean, I think you have to be excited about what he did too.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing with him that I've always really been impressed with is just the pace and the way he plays, and he's really under control. And he exploded the second half of the G League season. I mean, he was damn near averaging 30 points a game. Didn't really get to see him too much with the Detroit Pistons, but to your point, Wes, like maybe he's break the glass third string center. You know how summer content goes. You see some people in the Pistons community saying he's better than Marcus Sasser. Like I saw that, I was like, man, what? I was like, what are we doing, you guys?
Yeah, that's too far. That's taking it too far. But like, it's you always got to scale things down a bit with the undrafted free agents and with your second round picks in general. So like when you're getting really excited about a Dannis Jenkins, like you justified, get excited about Dannis Jenkins, but get excited of him as like your fourth point guard on this roster. Or maybe one day he could be the third point guard on a roster that you are just pumped to have as a luxury, right? Where if your backup goes down or Jaden Ivey eventually goes down, you could turn that backup group over to Dannis Jenkins for 10 to 15 games, and it's not going to sink the ship. He's going to be solid, and you don't take too much of a step back. Like that's the kind of guy that I think you're looking at here, and the fact that he's so far ahead of schedule makes me even more comfortable with the guard rotation right now. If you're going to have Dannis Jenkins on a two-way, like sure, don't bring in another vet point guard. I'm totally fine. If Jaden Ivey gets injured and Marcus Sasser's struggling for a night, call up Dannis Jenkins. I'm pretty confident that he won't sink the ship.
Yeah, I think it's a good luxury to have.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
That's
someone breaking in?
It was thunder. It sounded like a gunshot. Good Lord.
It's storming by me too. Hopefully it doesn't get crazy.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully I don't get struck by lightning during the podcast.
Sunny skies over here in Chicago, guys. So if you guys go down, we'll keep the stream rolling.
It passed you already.
Oh man, lucky. I feel like I wanted to kind of segue over to this next segment. I feel like the one thing that I keep seeing Pistons fans talk about is power forward and backup power forward. So I kind of wanted just to get your guys' like overall thoughts. Like, do you think the Pistons need to address to get one, or do you feel like there's a backup four on the roster right now that's not currently playing that position?
I mean, the forward rotation is going to be primarily three guys, right? Tobias Harris, Asar Thompson, and Ron Holland. And I think you're going to sneak Duncan Robinson in there at the three a little bit as well. Like he'll kind of split his minutes between the 2 and the 3. You got Karis LeVert will kind of split his minutes as well. 1, 2, 3, and Jaden Ivey's 1 and 2, right? So like the way that this is all kind of shaking out, it seems to make sense right now. You could put together a 9-man rotation with basically a hole at the backup 1 and the backup 4 and just shift guys around at the guard position, Ivey and LeVert, and at that 4 position, Asar and Ron Holland, right? So it seems like that's where this is going to go. They went 9-man rotation for the majority of last year, and this gives Ron Holland a nice minutes boost, which by all accounts from Summer League looks like he's going to earn at the very least. So like I don't think that either the starting or backup power forward position is something that A, needs to be addressed, or B, will be addressed. Now, that being said, if there's a 4 or kind of a combo big out on the free agency market right now with a little bit more size who you could sign and not expect to have minutes right off the gate, right? Like just kind of be a big injury replacement. I think that's a really important move that this team could make with that 14th spot. Because like what happens if Tobias goes down? Right. If Tobias goes down and you start, let's say you just move Ron Holland in the starting position, your 2 forwards that you're starting are Asar and Ron Holland. You have nobody behind either Asar or Ron at the 4. Absolutely nobody. Are you going to pull up Paul Reed down to that position? Are you going to have Isaiah Stewart playing the 4 again in backup units? Like you could theoretically go even smaller and have Marcus Sasser enter the rotation there, but now you're really looking at 4 guards off the bench. Like it gets a little murky pretty quick if they start getting injuries in the front court. So I would like to add a guy at the 4, maybe like the 4-5 type position. I think Trey Lyles is going to come in and expect to play. I think Chris Boucher, he's going to come in and expect to play. These are guys that are NBA players, proven roles. Last year, they didn't get 0 minutes and they weren't on terrible teams. So I think it's got to be someone else. But I would like some depth there. I don't know. What do you think, Blake?
Yeah, I mean, I think just when you send out Simone Fontecchio in the Duncan Robinson sign and trade, like I totally get looking at the roster and you're kind of like, what's going on here? But like you said, I think those minutes, and Simone Fontecchio didn't have his best season by any means last year. Like I think the plan always should have been like you hope that some like Ron Holland is definitely going to get more minutes in year 2. Like sort of want him to just take those. And even if he can't take all of them, like you said, split it amongst Asar Thompson and Ron Holland. I'm with you too. Like if there is a move to add some depth, I'd be all for it, especially when you do have open roster spots. Also, like similar to what you said about what if Tobias goes down, like all the trade stuff we talk about, like now that Tobias is on an expiring deal, and if there is some deal where the Pistons go and acquire a player who's making a pretty decent salary, like Tobias almost has to be included in that deal. And like maybe the player you're bringing back is your starting power forward, but like if it's not, then you would sort of need to fill that position too, because I don't think it can fully just be Ron Holland and Asar Thompson if Tobias Harris isn't in the equation either. But I think like as it stands now, I sort of think it's like following the plan that the front office wanted to follow.
This made me think a lot of Tobias's first stint. You guys remember who the small forward was next to Tobias?
Marcus Morris.
I think maybe this could be their plan. They view Asar as a long-term 4, and they view Ron as a long-term 3. And maybe that might not be the plan right now this year, but maybe next year they feel more confident of having those guys at the 3 and the 4. But there's one guy you named, Wes, that I was just like, I'd love Chris Boucher, but I don't know, how many minutes he wants. I mean, there's a report that he might sign for a vet's minimum. I don't know. I'd love him. I like the versatility with him. He can play 4 or the 5, but I think what you said is correct. Like he's probably going to want some rotational minutes. And then like when you kind of get into that, like where's Ron going to play? Like I doubt he's going to play over Karras or Duncan because you need like more 3-point shooting out there. But maybe, the long-term plan is just to kind of roll with the SAR out there, kind of how they stagger, Jaden Ivey as a shooting guard and as a point guard on this roster.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one. I do think that is the plan. And that's also exactly what I would like to see. So I'm kind of happy with it. Like I love the idea of the 2 combo forwards just kind of mixing and matching. And Ron Holland looks like the exact type of forward where he could guard realistically 3 and 4. Some nights you might be able to stick him on a 2 and have it go pretty well, not have him get out quicked. But he is looking like he can develop into the type of forward that allows Asar Thompson to actually guard 1 through 4. You pair this with the fact that Cade can guard 1 through 3. Like you can hide him 1 through 3 wherever you need. Like you can have Asar Thompson play the 4, which is who he is offensively. KOC brings this up all the time, but like not Ron Holland, Asar Thompson and Jalen Duren, they cut to the exact same spots on the floor all the time. Their instincts are both as a big. They're both very good at it, and they get in each other's way pretty frequently. So like having Asar Thompson play a 4 offensively makes a ton of sense. Your worry is that defensively he'd be stuck guarding bigger guys. With Ron Holland and with Cade Cunningham, he doesn't have to. So I think that's probably where things are tracking. And just to like really quick to bring this up, like you brought up Simone Fontecchio, like, and maybe this will calm down some fans of the podcast here, but is it fair to say that Ron Holland and Asar Thompson both are far better equipped to play the 4 for backup minutes than Simone Fontecchio ever was? Like even when they went and acquired Simone Fontecchio 2 years ago, he started a game at the 4, and I think it was Julius Randle just buried him. Absolutely buried him for every second that he was on the court with him. Like Simone Fontecchio, we went into last offseason saying he can't be the backup forward or the 4 because he's just not physical enough to do it. And that's what he played. Almost all of his minutes last year were at the 4. And it didn't kill him. This team wasn't toast when he was on the court, right? And now you got Ron Holland and Asar Thompson. Both are at least physically able to hold up with most 4s across the NBA, starters or backups. So I think we should not have too much concern with this. They made an upgrade just by not doing anything.
Yeah, I think you could like argue like, okay, Simone brings more shooting, but even he didn't shoot like we know he can last season, and
he was like 32%.
Yeah, and you go out and you sign Duncan Robinson and Karis LeVert, and I know they're pretty much replacing Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr., but like Duncan Robinson has some size. I'm not saying he's a good defender by any means, but if you just play one of those players next to Asar and or Ron Holland, whoever's out there, like that should bring the shooting that you're missing from Simone Fontecchio and then some, even when you don't have him in the equation.
That's a good point. I didn't think about kind of playing Duncan maybe as a 3 or a 4. I mean, I know some Heat fans said that Spo did have Duncan at the 4 before they kind of tried Kilauea, which I don't really know why he did. You drafted him in the first place if he was going to be on the bench, but they're like, oh, he can play 4 next to Bam. Let's go. But I don't know. Maybe they do sign one. Maybe they don't. Maybe they feel that, Asar is kind of like that long-term solution. I always felt like the Tobias contract was just kind of like a Band-Aid or a placeholder until they could maybe kind of identify who could be the long-term 4 on this team. Or maybe he's not even on the team yet. Maybe they trade for somebody. You never know.
Yeah, and Tobias kind of seems to me like, I mean, even before he signed here, when James Edwards was still in Detroit, like he was reporting how Tobias wants to be in Detroit. I think like he met his wife here and everything. And everything we saw last season was just how huge he was in the locker room. So like, yes, he's making $26 million this year, but his next contract isn't going to be for anything close to that. And I would probably bet that he wants to end his career in Detroit. So like eventually if you flip-flop and like Tobias is your backup 4 and Ron Holland and or Asar are your starting 4, like I think that's the best case scenario, honestly.
Yeah, that's my dream. And honestly, they kind of set up this offseason to be able to do something like that. Not saying that they will, but they have a lot more stackable contracts than they did last season. So once we get past that moratorium after a guy signs a free agency deal, like Duncan Robinson and Karis LeVert, once they are both able to be traded, you can stack some of those salaries together and actually get to a pretty big number. Because I'm right there with you, Blake. Like long term, if you could have Ron and Asar or Asar and Ron, however you want to put it, it doesn't matter, as your starting forwards with Tobias Harris backing both of them up, that would be fantastic. I'd be all over something like that.
So kind of have like Tobias play that Al Horford role, just kind of being that vet off the bench. And that's a guy I wanted in free agency so bad, you guys. Like, and I was getting cooked for it. Like, why would you want Al Horford? I'm like, why wouldn't you want Al Horford? Like, it'd be a perfect backup
out there, right? I know he's probably going to go to the Warriors, but
yeah, for Warriors or retire, I don't know, man. It's Warriors haven't made a single move. It's kind of weird.
They really like watching everyone else have fun. That's what I've gotten out of this Warriors offseason.
Honestly, I listened to like a hour podcast from like a Warriors reporter, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know what they're doing either." He was just like, "I've been golfing a lot because there's been no news."
Good for him. Like, that's a good offseason.
Oh man, I know we got a trade exception during free agency, and I kind of want to ask you guys. Are there like certain players you're looking at that $14 million trade exception point?
Oh man, like honestly, and I'm not trying to cop out, but like I'm not certain that they're even gonna use it. Honestly, like I think it's a flexibility play, which I think is great. And like, who knows if there's like a trade that pops up that you need to take on someone else's money to make it happen, and like that's how you go about it, whether it's to acquire assets. I mean, I think the big one, and I saw Detroit Drew mention it in the comments, is like PJ Washington. Like I think he'd be a good fit. He's making $14 million this year, but then he's an unrestricted free agent. So I don't know. I'm sort of expecting them just to like keep it in their back pocket for a while, and then like if there is a deal closer to the deadline, like maybe that's when we see them use a piece of it or all of it, just to like, even if you need to go and get another like backup guard, like they did at the trade deadline with Dennis Schroeder, depending what happens throughout the season, like you can use it in that way too. Like I feel like it's almost being pigeonholed a bit into getting maybe like a forward or a backup four, which I think would be a benefit if it is, but there are other ways it could be used as well.
So I don't think I'm with you that I don't think they're going to use this this offseason, but I do think that they are going to use this trade exception. So just I pulled up a Spotrac here just as an example. Not saying that this is something that they would do or I would want, but Duncan Robinson's cap hit this year, that traded player exception, and Jaden Ivey get you to about $40 million of outgoing salary. So this is what I was talking about earlier, where they can now stack some contracts and get to some pretty big numbers. And I think the fact that you're looking at this roster and you've got two pretty big key players that don't have a contract extension yet, and Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren, like honestly, I think that they are kind of setting themselves up for, like you said, like maximum flexibility. But when they get to the trade deadline, to be able to look at this roster, say, okay, like, do we want to sign both of these guys? Do we want to only sign one? If we're only going to sign one, the guy that we maybe would move on from, we could package with a bunch of other stuff and maybe get a pretty good piece coming back. So like they are the most set up for the sort of, bigger name type trade that Pistons fans have been clamoring for than at any point I can remember in recent memory. Cause like under Troy Weaver, they always had the space to do it. They just never really had the assets or ammo to go get it. Right now they've got the ammo, and they've got the ammo in guys like Duncan Robinson, who not only is sitting at almost $17 million this season on his cap hit, but he's a good player with an extremely team-friendly contract moving on to the future. Same thing with Karis LeVert. Tobias Harris isn't expiring. Like they've got the guys that other teams would want to pair with a younger player and maybe a pick if you really want to go crazy to pull back someone that's taking in significant salary and is maybe that all-star type guy. So like I obviously we don't know for sure that that's where this is all going, but reading the tea leaves, like it seems like that's what they've set up here. Otherwise, I don't really know what the point of this trade exception was.
Yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, when we traded Jeremy Grant to Portland, they had a player exception from trading CJ McCollum so they could absorb his contract. So maybe it's a kind of like a fringe move like that. I do agree with you though, Wes. I think they are setting themselves up for like that quote unquote like big fish or that big splash, and that makes me really nervous. Because I get like PTSD to like the Blake trade, like 100%. But I loved watching Blake. I'm no slander there. It's just
we get some weather frozen.
It's
like
think so.
It's
frozen for me too, Blake.
It's pouring by me too. So yeah, I am not totally shocked. But yeah, I like what I was gonna say is I feel like yeah, it's obviously scary to make that big move, but I feel like you almost have to, like, they're not trying to go out and acquire a star. Like you already have your guy in Cade Cunningham. So like at least that is already in place, I guess. And so you just go and get someone that can be a good fit that you are comfortable committing to for a long-term contract. Because like, I don't know. You basically just like have to do it at some point. Like something is going to give and hopefully it's the right move, but I don't know. I guess I just feel like what's the point if you don't go and make some sort of needle moving move? Yeah,
and like truthfully they're going to kind of run out of time to do that sort of move. As soon as you get Ivy and Duren onto bigger contracts, they're harder to trade and there's a little bit less potential there. That's a bigger number, all that usual good stuff. The reason teams want good players on rookie contracts, right? That's no longer an option. And like, you just keep going down the list, right? You got Cade's already getting big money. Asar's going to get an extension. We both think he's certainly earned that already. So no reason to think he's not going to get extended here in the future. Ron Holland's going to need money in a couple of years. You do have Ivy. You do have Duren. You've already extended Stu to a pretty reasonable number. Like all of these guys aren't going to be a hit. Like you could just go back through past champions, right? Like the number of teams that have done what like OKC has done here, even if, they had SGA, right? They got him through trade, but everyone else they've pretty much drafted. The number of teams that have done stuff like that, very, very low. So you just realistically, all 7 of these players aren't going to be superstar hits that are pillars for the next Pistons championship. So as soon as the clock starts ticking here on these contract extensions, because like we said, it's not just Ivy Duran, it's Asar, it's Ron, all of these guys. You got to kind of pick and then package other ones to, like you said, get maybe a B or a star C, right, kind of guy, because this isn't the Blake thing. Like Stan Van Gundy, what he tried to do was essentially gather a bunch of very good players that he could package to get a superstar and bring him back to Detroit. The Pistons have a superstar. This is packaging some young players that you've developed but don't necessarily want to pay to get back a guy that can really support that superstar and further your playoff aspirations. So I think they're well set up to do it. And, I'm with you, Blake. They kind of have to at some point here. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah. And who's like better positioned to make this kind of move? Like the Brooklyn Nets, like, are they going to go and do this? Like, I feel like the Pistons could essentially be in a good situation where if a player they're interested in that is a good young player that you're willing to commit to or already has a long-term deal becomes available, like it could just be the best move for both parties involved, because we're seeing how the second apron is wreaking havoc on the top teams, and teams trade away like their draft capital every summer, every season. And the Pistons are like finally in a position where they can use their draft picks in a trade.
Yeah, we're not the Pelicans.
Thankfully not.
Yeah, thankfully not. We were, not anymore.
No, I'm still kind of just trying to process that whole trade up or to get. I don't know. It's not our problem anymore. We don't have to deal with it. We don't have to deal with getting these top prospects anymore, because we have them and they're developing. But lost my internet for a little bit.
Derek Queen looked really good, and this is still the narrative, right?
I'm rooting
young player
for him.
Came out, yeah. He was a stud in summer league as a rookie, and then the narrative is still what were the Pelicans brass thinking on that one? Stinks for the guy. I'm rooting for him too.
Yeah,
he's a fun player.
Yeah,
and he got injured already. That's just like, man, like,
oh yeah.
I feel like it's a New Orleans thing. I feel like any player that goes there, they automatically just get injuries after injuries after injuries, and I feel bad for them.
Yeah, well, Bill Simmons is already trying to relocate them elsewhere. So
again, man, I remember when Bill Simmons used to make fun of the Pistons. We're not in that threshold anymore, so we're all good.
Yeah, I know he said he didn't love our offseason, but Zach Lowe did, and I appreciate that more. So
yeah, I mean, we're getting more national praise, which is, it's hard to get like used to, but it's just like, it's just a pretty good basketball team the way they're set up.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to transition into your guys' expectations for the season. Now, obviously, I know that there's still roster spots available, but just like your overall thoughts, like, are you looking more for a certain win total, maybe a top seed? Like, what are you guys looking for going into this upcoming season?
Man, it's such a tough question, because I feel like how they overperformed last year is sort of like broken my brain in a sense of like, okay, they tripled their win total last year. No team has ever done that before. Obviously, it's easier to do when you only win 14 games the year before, but like what if they're not a top 6 seed this year? Like, is that a failure? Like, I don't know if I'm necessarily ready to call it that, but like at the same time, I do believe that the team got better. And a big part of that is like, you have another year with Cade, you have Jaden Ivey coming back, you have Ron Holland hopefully taking a leap, like Asar getting better. So like we saw the trouble that they gave the Knicks in the first round. And I mean, when you think about, I know the East is wide open with the like Halliburton injury and Tatum and everything like that. I don't think the Pistons are necessarily like a given to be one of the best teams in the East. And also when you consider like Atlanta got better, Orlando went and got Desmond Bane, like I think it's going to be a challenge, but like no matter what the win total is, like I feel like the expectation should be to win a playoff series. I think that's really difficult to do. So like if they don't do it, I'm not like hitting the panic button by any means, but like I think the bare minimum expectation should like be to be in the playoffs, whether they do that through the play-in tournament or qualify outright. And then like the ultimate goal this year to me should be like to win a series, which they seem pretty close to be doing.
Yeah. I don't like linear progression's so hard, man. Like that's just not how this usually goes. And I've heard the East is wide open thing too, but like just the Cavs haven't gone anywhere. The Knicks haven't gone anywhere. Those are two very good teams. I get that the Celtics don't have Tatum and they just got rid of Kristaps and they made these changes, but like that's still a really good squad that they've got there. They're going to be competitive. I think you could say the same for the Pacers too. Like they're not going to be what they were, but they're still going to be solid. Orlando got better. Atlanta got better. Miami is still an interesting team. And everyone seems to forget about the 76ers probably getting Embiid back. Like they're not going to be as bad as they were, barring some health things, right? I don't think they're going to be as bad as they were last season. And you always got to have your eye on Charlotte too. They got a lot of talent down there. So I think it's going to be harder this year for the Pistons. And I think they did a really good job of Blake, something you and I talked about kind of wanting to see them do, which was make sure that the veterans on the roster at least remain at the level. If they were going to lose Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley, we wanted them to bring back guys that were at least comparable in talent to where if they take a step forward from where they were last season, it's primarily driven by the young guys. I think they did that. It's just kind of tough to then turn to those young guys and confidently say, oh yeah, Jaden Ivey coming off a broken leg is going to be better than he was last season. I like to think that. I don't know for sure, right? It's going to take him some time to get back. You're hoping Asar Thompson takes a leap, but what's that leap going to be? We saw a lot out of Ron Holland here in the Summer League, but he's got to translate that, and he's got to prove that he can actually push for big-time minutes in year two as a 20-year-old. Like, all of this is going to be a lot to ask. I think the one thing we know for sure is Cade Cunningham's one of the absolute best players in the Eastern Conference, and that's going to go pretty far. How far that goes, my expectation, I'm hoping around the same win total. I just don't know if that win total is going to be 6 or like 8, right? So I just don't know on the seeding side of things.
I think the Vegas under I was looking at was 45.5, which, I mean, if they're flirting around 50 wins, I don't know about you guys, but I'd feel pretty happy. I felt like they could have won 50 this year. I felt like they could have won 50 this year. There was a lot of games that just didn't bounce their way. Like I think of the Bucks game where Ron missed those free throws. Like I felt like they could have won that game. I felt like they could have got close to 50 this upcoming season. I think my expectations is like yours, Blake. Try to win a playoff series because you haven't won one in quite some time. And I feel like that'd be a really big accomplishment, not only for JB Bickerstaff and the Pistons, but this ownership group. They haven't won a playoff series since they purchased the team. And I think they have the talent, depending on who they match up against in the playoffs. I know it's months down the road, but I feel like they have the talent to compete with anyone in the Eastern Conference. I think JB did a lot for them, and I think not having a new coach again is a big plus in my opinion. It's a big positive. Getting more familiar with JB and all the coaches that they get to work with each and every day.
Yeah, and like if they are in the playoffs again, which like we expect them to be, like what's stopping them from making a run? I guess like we saw what the Pacers did this last season, and even like mainly the Pacers first run where they go to the Eastern Conference Finals and like no one's expecting them to do. And then you think back to like Trae Young making that run with the Hawks a few years before, like I think this team is really close to that. Like, I don't think we necessarily like go in and expect them to make an appearance in the Eastern Conference Finals. But like, I mean, I wouldn't be fully shocked if they found a way and just made a run. Like, a lot of things have to go right, and maybe some things have to go wrong for other teams. But like, we've seen it happen in the past, and I think Cade Cunningham is that good where he can be that guy on a team who makes a run in the playoffs that who knows where it would stop.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, thinking about these guys, this team making a run, Cade Cunningham's absolutely at that level. Like, I'm with you. I don't know. I don't think that should really be the expectation. But if you could say one thing for certain about this team, it's that Cade Cunningham is that dude. And, you name off Halliburton, Trae Young. Would any of us take either of those guys over Cade? Maybe I'm too much of a homer, but I wouldn't. I'd take Cade over both of those guys, right? So, and that's now when both of those guys have improved over where they were when their teams made those kinds of runs. So, like, it's in the cards because the Pistons have the type of superstar they've just not had in years.
Yeah, Halliburton just pisses me off. Like, watching him, like the celebrations.
Oh, no, I love him. He's so fun to watch. Come on. It's fun watching the troll. Come on.
If it's against the Celtics, I'm cool. If it's against the Pistons, I don't like it. Pistons Pacers stuff still makes my blood boil.
It was that game
Okay, well,
game
fair,
winner in the opener this year. That was wild.
Made everyone hate the Pacers again. Yep.
Oh, I remember that game so vividly because I went to it, and like Cade had a terrible first half, and there were these guys behind me just like talking crap, like we need to trade Cade. And then like they get their food and he explodes for like 20 or 25 points. And we got back into the game. So like, what happened? I was like, oh, Cade scored 25 straight. He's like, no, he didn't. Stop lying. It's just like, wow.
Yeah, that's what I do like eavesdropping if I'm in the crowd for things like that. It's always fun.
Especially at away games. It's really cool to hear like other teams' fans talking about like, man, I wish we had someone like Asar Thompson. Like, oh, look how that guy's defending. Shoot. Why can't we? Like the Bulls, I was at a Bulls game last year, and the group behind us, one little kid, Cade Cunningham, made him a fan of his for the rest of his life because that's the game where Cade had that crazy, like, go up with the left, switch it to the right dunk over Matas Buzel.
Yeah.
He went nuts right before the All-Star break. And then actually at the end of the game gave that kid an autograph. So like that kid was rocking Pistons the rest of the way, which was sick. I don't know how happy his dad was, but that was great to see. But then his dad's talking about Asar Thompson too, comparing him to how he's just bullying Matas at the time. Like, this feels good. This feels good as a Pistons fan to just hear this.
Was that the game we beat them by like 50 points?
No, I wish I was at that one. That was wild. That was that one I think was before the game I'm talking about. I think the one I was at was like either the game before or the final game before the All-Star break. I think.
Yeah. I mean, they had a couple games where they beat teams by like 30, 40 points. And like, I haven't experienced that since like the go in the work era. Like, I was like, man, like what the hell has gotten into this team? Like, they're just like coming out aggressive. Like the Pelicans game, man, like when was it Herb Jones? Maybe or I think it was Trey Murphy. I think Asar like first play. Yeah. First play, Asar like goes for a ball and Trey Murphy dislocates his shoulder. I was just like, man, like this team is so damn aggressive. I'm not used to it.
And talking about the Pelicans' terrible injury luck, right?
Oh man, I know I do have some friends that are Pelicans fans and cover the team. So no shade, guys. I just feel bad for you. Good luck with Joe D and Troy. Good luck. We have one more topic for today's podcast, and I wanted to kind of get your guys' overall reactions with the athletic rankings. I'm going to put it on the screen, and I lost the internet earlier, which I don't know. This storm is crazy.
The weather. Yeah, it was like pouring by me too.
Yeah, so here's the top 10. So I don't know if you guys kind of want to like just look at it real quick, but just overall thoughts with them being in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty interesting. I mean, it kind of goes back a little bit to what you were talking about with getting some national notoriety. And I mean, I think it paints like a good picture of after this offseason we had where you're expecting to bring Malik Beasley back until the eve of free agency and like the craziest story in the world happens and he's not a part of the equation anymore. But like you still do a good job to the point where you're seen as like a team who should be a playoff team in the Eastern Conference. And I think that should be the case, even if there was a Tyrese Halliburton that was healthy in Indiana and Jason Tatum. But overall, like, I mean, to me, I feel like this is just like a after respective off-season rankings on like where teams should fall. So I feel like it's pretty spot on. And I think it's nice to see like the Pistons even leapt up a couple spots from the prior rankings. So overall, like, I mean, I feel good about it. I think it is like, I hope just going back to expectations, I just hope there isn't a regression, but I don't think there is really a reason for there to be one, just mainly because of these young players and making moves in the front office that make this roster better. Like we saw what Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., Dennis Schroeder did last year. Like the front office definitely took that into account. You don't bring back any of those guys, but you go out and get other players who can fill similar roles. And like Duncan Robinson is an elite shooter in his own right. And maybe he'll even look like a better player next to Cade Cunningham, which pretty much everyone does. So I feel good about it. I think top 10 is honestly like pretty crazy to see, but I think like when you look at the teams right behind them and even right in front of them, I think it's a pretty good spot.
Let me just devil's advocate for a second. The Lakers with Luka and LeBron and Austin Reeves and all them, really behind the Pistons? Like I don't. Milwaukee, like I know they lost Dame, but that's a really good. And the Pistons haven't beaten them. They've struggled against Milwaukee because Giannis is a beast. And then Boston, like I'm just gonna keep saying it. Like I know they lost Tatum, I know they lost Porzingis and Drew Holiday, but like that team was who they were last year for a reason. Like they are a really, really good collective unit as a basketball team. So like that's 3, right? I just named off 3. So that could theoretically push the Pistons back down to 13. I mean, Dallas is another one you could make an argument for if they stay healthy. Kyrie, AD, and Cooper Flag. Same thing with San Antonio, Wemby, De'Aaron Fox, like Dylan Harper too.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think top 10 is a bit much, but at the same time, being top 15 out of the entire league is really good. Really good. And you can count the number of Eastern Conference teams that would be ahead of them, right? Like it's probably New York, it's Cleveland. Well, who else is there? Orlando, Milwaukee, Boston, and maybe Boston, right? There's still going to be up near the top. So I don't know. Like I do think this is a little high on the Pistons, which I love seeing out of national media. I like the hype. The hype is fun. At the same time, just to devil's advocate a little bit, like I don't know if it's the most accurate.
I could understand that though. I was kind of surprised the Spurs were 20, kind of given their offseason. I thought they actually had a really good offseason. I like the additions that they made to their team. The Clippers, I mean,
that one's interesting.
Yeah, I mean they're up for. I mean, if you woke someone up from a coma for like the last 12 years and say, hey, we still have Chris Paul, like they'd be like, oh, did we win the championship because we got James Harden? But I mean, the Clippers should be a fun team, a fun regular season team, I should say.
Agreed.
But yeah, I mean, like the Lakers, I thought the Lakers had a okay offseason, getting Ayton. We'll kind of see how that works with JJ Redick and all those guys. I'm just waiting for him to miss a defensive rebound assignment and JJ to snap because I know it's going to happen.
Yeah. No, I'm with Mr. Ray in the comments. He said it better than I could. He said Pistons top 15 for sure, but top 10 might be a bit rich before the start of the season. That's kind of I think that's kind of where I'm at. Like they can move up. I'd probably have them 14 or 15th with the expectation that they do actually climb up as the season progresses, right? Because injuries are going to happen, teams are going to fall off, Pistons are going to get hot, whatever. But top 10 might be a little premature.
Maybe they accounted the playoffs too into their ranking. Maybe that's why other teams are a little bit lower.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe that's why the Pistons are top 10. I feel like, winning 2 games in Madison Square Garden will probably get you a little bit of respect nationally from a lot of these writers.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think.
Am I crazy for liking the Hornets more than 27th?
I mean, I like them more than the Pelicans.
Yeah. I think they could be a play-in team. Yeah, there's a lot of talent down there in Charlotte.
I have Washington as my sneaky play-in team this year with their vets that they have, and I mean, still having Chris Middleton and TJ McCollum this year, and I think Alex Sarr is just going to pop off this year. I think he's going to have, you have more players that aren't just going to be jacking up shots like Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma. So I feel like Washington they might be the Pistons of this season. Or they're just a surprise team that, starts winning games. You never know.
And then to go in the other direction, like putting the Bulls 22 when they don't have they re-signed Josh Giddey? Isn't he still sitting out there? Like, yeah, he was a big part of that post All-Star break move. I don't know about that.
I feel like all the RFAs are kind of getting screwed by the new CBA. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, I mean, I think the Pistons, it's almost, to me, it looks like a belief in Cade Cunningham more than anything. I think you can make an argument that you're looking at a team that has the best guard in the East. If you remove Halliburton from the equation now that he's going to be out, Brunson, Mitchell, LaMelo Ball, maybe Maxey in Philly. I don't know. I feel like the Pistons you could make an argument that Cade is the best guard in the East. I mean, he's definitely the
right in that argument.
Yeah, he's definitely the one I want to have for the future. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably make a case of that. I'm already seeing it from some stat graphics out there that they're already predicting Cade to be in top 10 MVP voting and conversations already. Which it wouldn't surprise me if he's kind of a dark horse candidate if he takes another step in development. Who knows? Who really knows?
If he drags the Pistons to over 50 wins, I think that conversation is going to get really loud, and rightfully so. And Blake, to your point, you could even open that up to the NBA on the whole. Name the guards, the point guards you'd take over him. Luka, SGA for sure.
What do you count? Are you not? Are we counting Ant or no?
I wouldn't count Ant. He's a shooting guard to me primarily, right?
No, I agree.
Man, that conversation's been loud.
Yeah. So no, I feel like last year or through this season, it was going into the playoffs, we were sort of talking about this conversation as Cade being one of the best guards in the East, and as it gets better and better, I mean, Shea is on another level right now, but I'm with you, Wes. I think you can open it up to the league at large at this point.
Okay, Tigers, just doing nothing. Cool. Got a notification. I was like, oh, they made it. Never mind.
Yeah, they did make a trade while we were talking, but not a needle mover.
I don't get it. But hey, like I said, I just can't watch the Tigers anymore. I love it. They're in first place, but I see it crashing and falling. I just don't know why.
I mean, yeah, they've lost 12 of 14 games. It's the most infuriating team I don't know what it is about baseball teams that makes them. It's I feel like fans enjoy hating their baseball team more than they do rooting 100%. For them. So it's I mean, I hope they turn it around, but I'm not convinced or optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I saw Tigers trade. And I was like, oh, who did we get? And I was like, did we trade a prospect? Nope, minor league guy. Cool.
Yeah, he's our number 14 ranked prospect. I just saw. So nothing crazy.
Wow. I appreciate you guys coming on as always, though.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
For an hour. I do have you guys' social media links to both your personal Twitter and the Detroit Bad Boys YouTube channel. But for people that have not maybe had the opportunity to watch your guys' podcast or what you guys do, I'm going to give you guys the floor to plug and promote yourselves.
Blake, I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, you can watch us on the Detroit Bad Boys YouTube channel. We typically record once a week where we're there live. And then you can, of course, listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts after that. Just look up the Pin Down and you'll find us there. It's always myself and Wes, rotating cast of guests. Anthony, you'll have to come back on soon as well.
Sure.
Definitely.
And yeah, check out all the great work, all the rest of the staff is doing at DetroitBadBoys.com. Great community over there for all the fans that are listening to discuss Pistons really 24/7 around the clock. So definitely recommend checking out if you haven't already. And Wes, you got to plug the Pistons Pulse as well. So
yeah, I was gonna say that's always the one. Also gotta shout out the Pistons Pulse, Amari Bryce. I produced that one. That's always a great time. We're doing that every week, except taking a little bit of break here because it's the dog days of the summer. So make sure you're tuning into that when we get back to our regular schedule as well. Also the phone line. Blake, do you have that one memorized? Because I don't. I know it's 313-355 2717. Did I get it?
Have the number memorized, but I'm pulling 313-355-2717. It's a phone line open for our show where, like, if you want to hear your voice on the show, ask a Pistons question, leave your thoughts, we'll play your voice on the show. So it's a fun way to get involved as well for anyone listening that wants to tune in.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, I think we covered it all.
I definitely recommend for you guys, if you guys are watching live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook right now, go subscribe. We have the links in the description below, so it'll take you directly to the Detroit Bad Boys YouTube channel and directly to your guys' Twitter accounts. I don't know if you guys are on social media outside of Twitter, but did my best to find what I could find.
No, that's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm going to have Amari on. I've had Bryce on a couple of times, and I had to apologize to him for ruining his trivia.
Oh, I missed that. He thinks he's great at trivia, though, so that was a big deal that you ruined it for him.
Oh, I had it within 2 seconds. He's just like, who are the two Pistons that have had triple doubles? Like, come on, man, that's easy. Mason Plumlee and Dennis Smith Jr. Like, that game was wild.
Wait, was that the same game?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about that.
That was fun.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, I would have had that. I would have gotten that wrong.
I just watched it on League Pass not too long ago, just because I was just like, I'm going to watch
just
it.
For the feels,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, Mason Plumlee had the dimes that day, and that was crazy. The whole Dennis Smith Jr. era was crazy.
Mason Plumlee had some of the most random highlights I think I've ever seen in my life.
Breakers.
He just obscure ankle breaking. It made no sense, and because he's not quick, but he did it.
Signed for a veteran, man. I was just like, man, he's still in the league, still getting those checks. So shout out to him. But appreciate you guys watching. Have over 400 of you in the afternoon, which shout out to you guys for even watching in the afternoon if you have power. I lost the internet for like 20 seconds, but came back. But we'll see you guys probably throughout the week because I'm a sicko and I do 4 podcasts a week these days. So take care, you guys. See you guys next week. And as always, go Pistons. Peace.